What's going on, everybody? It's DotBets. We are checking back in. We got week 2 of the NFL season live here on a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. It's hot here. It's almost 100 degrees here. And hopefully it's cooled off where you are watching. But we're ready to get after it. We got tons and tons of information from week 1 that we've dissected throughout the week. The Discord, we went live yesterday, went through each and every game. Shout out to the Sharp Bros Discord. We're closing in on 5,000 members. Hit that link below. We have a great group of cappers. We cover it all for the most part. Shout out to Panda Cats last night. I think he had a 3-leg parlay for a home run parlay, won like 11K. So shout out to them. Cash out the Discord. I know my man Scooby was cashing it out as well. He hit like 3 or 4 parlays. So we have it all. And today we've loaded up a ton in the Discord, and we have some straight bets here. I will share one of the plays that I put into the Discord here for you guys checking out the live show. So as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every Sunday morning. You can catch the show at 10 a.m. Central Time, and make sure to never miss, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Goes a long way for us to continue to do these particular shows. All right, so if you got any questions throughout the show, we'll be here for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how many questions we get. Props, spreads, DFS, play, start, sit, season-long questions. I'm here for it all. I cover it all. I'm balls deep in it all, unfortunately. Yesterday, I touched some grass, though, so that was good. Usually we're inside figuring out what the hell we're going to do on Sundays, but yesterday I did touch some grass. So shout out to the grass out there. All right, let's get into it. If you've not watched the show before, I usually give out a favorite spread, a favorite total. This week we are gonna go away with the totals. I'll tell you a couple ones that I like. Unfortunately, we were on that Steelers Jets under like the rest of the world, and it went the exact opposite way. The revenge narrative was in full effect, but we'll go back to the well there with the spread play. I got 3 props as well, and then I have the 1 same game parlay, or I would say just a parlay, that I will share from the Discord, and as well as give out my anytime pick to click touchdown score, which did not hit last week because Kenneth Walker was used like a backup running back. But nonetheless, I digress. All right, let's get after it. The first play in this line, when it first came out, I was like, this doesn't make too much sense whatsoever. But looking into it, a lot of key injuries here, I think, on the defensive side for the Indianapolis Colts. So they were I would say, the fantasy darlings last week. Daniel Jones definitely won people millions of dollars last week, but I think it's going to be in for a rude awakening here against this stout Broncos defense. The Miami defense was non-existent. It felt like they just weren't ready to play. Had to hold a players only meeting this past week. So yeah, the Miami team is in disarray. The Broncos, however, came off of a very, very tough game versus the Titans at home. I kind of thought that game was going to be a little bit closer than normal. I didn't go with the Broncos in Survivor just because of that, and I knew a lot of people would. So in the back of my mind, I was hoping that they would lose, but I did have a parlay hit because of their money line. So I was kind of, I was bittersweet that they ended up winning, but because they're like 50 out of the 100 people would have been out of my Survivor, would have been nice. But nonetheless, Bo Nix has got to be better, will be better. Sean Payton came back and basically said, I called too many pass plays. And if you watched this game last week, you saw Bo Nix just play throw the ball way too much. I think it's going to be the reverse effect here. You're going to see a lot of Dobbins. You're going to see a lot of RJ Harvin. I think that Batty, is it Josh Batty or Bidet? I hopefully doesn't hit the field too much, but I think they steamroll the Colts today. You got Surtain that's going to be on Pittman. which opens up a lot for Warren and Downs and stuff. But I think the key to the success there is to stop Jonathan Taylor, which I think they can do with that defense. You got two of the main cornerbacks out for the Colts today. So I love Sutton. I love Franklin. Watch out for Ingram. He's still there as well. But I think altogether, this Broncos team will bounce back with a vengeance here, and the Colts will come back down to earth. So a little bit of kind of not of overreacting, but just underreacting to the Broncos. Obviously, they got it done still, but they were playing against a tough Titans defense. I think that Titans defense is a lot better than people think. So give me the Broncos today. Let me know if you disagree, or let me know what your favorite spread of the day is. The other one that I do, if you want to take a dog this week, my favorite dog play would be the Seahawks. So I think the Seahawks are better than what they showed offensively last week. And I think Darnold, once he gets the hang of it, I think he'll be fine. JSN just can't be the entire thing. They're going to go back to the run game. Kenneth Walker's going to be back into the mix. Charbonnet was a good old darling last week. And then the Steelers kind of come back down to earth from that crazy output last week for the Jets. So do like the Seahawks if you want to take a dog here, but I do like the Broncos to take care of business. All right. First prop we are going to go to is the Giants-Cowboys game. And you can pair this if you want to. It makes a lot of sense. But we're going to go with Dak Prescott over 22.5 completions. I want to say that's still the current line. Let me check real quick. I think it was 21.5, but it was like heavily juiced, so I went to 22.5. But this makes a ton of sense today. Let's see. It is still okay. It's 22.5 minus 105. 22.5 minus 105 on DraftKings. It's 21.5 on FanDuel if you want to take it for like minus 150. So I would prefer you guys don't lay that much juice. I think Dak is going to. I think he's going to have to throw the ball to this, and I think the Cowboys roll in this one and ultimately win the game. I think they don't run the ball as successfully as they did that Thursday night game. They do have some extra rest here, but don't expect Javonte Williams to have the same output as last game, which I think will put more emphasis on the passing game here when you're going to see a lot of completions. So you could pair this with, you could go Dak completions with CD's yards, 50 yards, or you could go Dak with CD's receptions. Both of them have came out and said, CD was on the jugs machine catching a ton of passes because, all the drops and stuff. But I really think it just comes down to the Giants front seven. It's just very, very good. The whole season, the Giants offense is going to look like complete ass, but their defense will keep them in games. Kind of like last week, they were never truly, it wasn't a blowout. They ended up, their defense keeps them in ball games. So I think that's why this game will be a lot closer than people think. Ultimately, Dak and company get it done, but Dak is going to have to throw the ball. If you want to go pass attempts, I'm okay here. But I think completions, short completions to CD, you're going to see Fergie get in the mix a lot. And look for Javonte maybe to catch more passes than be in the run game. So different angle here with Dak over 22.5 completions. Next up was a guy that, man, I was watching last week, and I told myself, why did I not go to him at all? Just wasn't even on my radar last week. And this week, we're gonna go back to him, and I hope I didn't miss the bell here, but I think from what just the rapport of both of these guys together, it should be fine. So this line, okay, so it's moved a little bit. So I was looking last night, and I'm going to update this real quick before I put it on the screen. It is now minus money, which moved in our favor, which is fine. Minus 102 over on FanDuel. All right, but we're going to go Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions. So when Drake May and Hunter Henry has played 10 full games together. Okay. 10 full games. He's caught 4 catches, 4+ catches in 8 of the 10. 4+ catches in 8 of the 10. That includes at least 8 targets in 7 of those 10 games. So he is an absolute a safety blanket for Drake May. Has been, and I hope in this case we didn't miss the bell here, but the Dolphins are they forget that the tight end position you have to stop that position, and they continue to forget. So the Jets and the Dolphins are the main 2 teams that I always try to get to with the opposing tight end. So you got Hunter Henry this week against the Dolphins. And four catches, like you said, in 8 to 10 games should be hit early and often. You got Booty there, and I've seen a lot of love for Diggs this week. I just can't trust him yet. I just don't know how many snaps he's going to play, and I think everyone's just kind of anticipating that he gets back to that workload. For me, I'm going to go with the more safe bet here. It was plus 101-ish, plus 102-ish last night, but now it's down to minus 102, which is I'm okay. Still take this. 4 catches for Hunter Henry. If you want to maybe go a different route, maybe put his receiving yards, maybe 25 plus into a 2-leg parlay if you wanted to go that route with it. But Henry over 3.5 receptions, minus 102 is a pretty safe bet to me today. And then the last single player prop that I got today would be going to the Super Bowl rematch in the afternoon, which I think everybody will be glued to their television to watch. And this is a play when Dallas Goedert is out. You hammer this guy. It's a no-brainer. One of the reasons why I like to target this guy in fantasy this year, or last year as well, just because whenever Goddard misses, this guy usually takes off and has a little bit more usage rate to it. So we're going to go Devontae Smith over 5.5 receptions, plus 108 on FanDuel. Let me confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's still the same. But like I said, you got Goddard who is out. And you saw last week, a lot, if someone wanted to critique this play, you'd say, oh, well, they're going to run the football a ton. They're going to try to run the football. I'm fine with that. I still think they're obviously going to have to throw the football. And if the Chiefs, the Chiefs got revenge on their mind. They don't want to start 0-2. I think they're going to play very, very, I think they're going to play a lot faster than they normally have. Even though Worthy's gone, they still have plenty of pieces to get back there. So even if the Eagles get into a negative game script, this should fly over. But even if it's a neutral game, I still think that Chiefs defense can stop the run. And you saw Herbert absolutely shred this team last week. Not saying Jalen's probably the best or better of a throwing quarterback as Herbert, but he still can get it done in the air. One of his favorite targets, obviously, is Devontae Smith, especially when Goddard is out. You saw him get 11 receptions and 6 without him as well. So, and you could also ladder. If you want to ladder his receiving yards, totally fine with that. 2 regular season matchups between KC, 6 for 99, 7 for 122. And then the 2 Super Bowls that they've played against each other, 7 for 100 and then 4 for 69. So average basically out of 6 catches each time that they've played. And that's not even without Dallas Goedert. So there's something in this matchup that they like, that Devontae matches up well against this KC defense, which hasn't changed a whole much from last year. So I would not expect them to do anything different here. But Devontae Smith, over 5.5 receptions, and that is still current. That's actually plus 114 now, plus 114 on FanDuel. So let me update that real quick. But yeah, plus 114 over on FanDuel, a little bit more value. Probably not the way we wanted to go in our favor, but I'll still take this. But if you want to go a different route, definitely go his receiving yards is like mid or low 60s, over 60.5 on FanDuel, which he could definitely catch a couple balls, but I think with his Chiefs front seven could get to Jalen, and maybe instead of Jalen tucking and running it, he has some more dink and dunks down to Devontae. I do like his touchdown. I do like A.J. Brown's value. You're probably, if A.J. Brown scores this week, you're not going to get him plus 200 ever again. So feed off of that. I do have him in a couple anytime touchdown parlays just because the value is too good there. And if you get on man-to-man coverage, you're definitely going to see A.J. Brown in the end zone today. All right. The Discord parlay that I will share, it's a 2-leg parlay. And this stems off of 2 coaches that came out directly after their game and was like, we have to run the ball better. We have to run the ball more. And we have to give both of these guys more opportunities. And they're both rookies. And I think just getting them acclimated to the game speed last week was huge. And you saw both of them. You saw one with a big play, and you saw the other not as involved, but when he actually was on the field, he was heavily involved. So the usage rate was there. He just didn't have as many snaps as I would want. And these 2 right here, RJ Harvey, 50 plus, Travion Henderson, 50 plus. We're going to go 50 plus rush yards here. So let me actually verify that. Rush yards for anybody watching the replay. And maybe they're on mute, maybe they're at work. So I got to make sure these are all good. But RJ Harvey, 50 plus, Travion Henderson, 50 plus rush yards. You saw Harvey have a 50 plus rush last week, ended up with 70. I'm not saying that he's going to obviously go back to that. I think he's going to be just a lot more involved and potentially could break the play here. But at 50 plus, he's like plus 310, which for me, I just think it's a little bit off. Henderson, 50 plus is like high one, maybe that's like 180, 190, I think in my head, which makes a little bit more sense. I do have another parlay with Travion Henderson's receptions because I just think he's going to be more of the focal point. And maybe I'm early on Henderson, but I'm okay with being early, especially if we get these types of lines. But you got J.K. Dobbins, who's going to be the main back there, but you're going to see R.J. Harvey play a little bit more today, especially if they're going to establish the run a little bit more. And same with Travion. Vrabel came out and he was very adamant to get him more involved and to run the football. So I like both these guys, 50 plus, pretty good odds here, plus 1056. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of that one, but that one makes a lot of sense in my head. All right, to finish the show, we got our anytime pick-to-click touchdown score. Like I said last week, Kenneth Walker was just insanely not used. And Charbonnet got the rushing touchdown, which is just tilting as hell. But that's the NFL for you. As much as you think you can sit there all week, dissect these coaching press conferences and all the information through the week, they're going to throw a curveball all the time when it comes to the NFL. But this goes back to the Broncos-Colts game. You have 2 of the main cornerbacks out for the Colts, and you saw that Miami could not cash in last week, could not get anything going with Waddle or Hill. I think it's going to be a little bit different story here with my main man, Courtland Sutton. I know he scored last week. A lot of people are like, oh, well, they scored last week. They're not going to score this week. It's kind of a fallacy. You don't really pay too much attention to that. It's all about the matchups here. You're going to see a lot of man coverage there, and Courtland Sutton should absolutely eat. I know I've been talking about the Broncos establishing the run a little bit more, but when it gets down to the red zone, Courtland Sutton is such a huge usage rate there. So great odds here, plus 168 on FanDuel. I'm going to see if it changed at all, depending on either book. So let me see real quick. To score a touchdown. And so it's still plus 168 on FanDuel, plus 160 on DraftKings, plus 145 on Caesars. So pretty good value here. He's the lowest odds for the Broncos, which if you pay attention to that, maybe a little bit too much, like me, last week with Gibbs and Montgomery, like it was insane value. And it's just like maybe it's Vegas's way of telling you that this team's just not going to score. But because obviously this week, Gibbs is minus 175 when he was minus 105 last week. So the home away splits are nice there. But I think Sutton is the best red zone option here for the Broncos in a great matchup with backup cornerbacks in there. So plus 168, pretty good. And if you wanted to go someone else, I just mentioned earlier, A.J. Brown plus 200 would be my other favorite value there. And then you also have DK Metcalf going, playing against his old team. It's not in Seattle. It's at Pittsburgh. So, Rodgers loves those damn narratives. So you could definitely see him pushing the rock more to DK Metcalf. And it went, I think he's like plus 160 as well. So maybe if you do all three, maybe do Sutton, maybe do A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. It's not bad. All right. Let me know in the comments, or if you're watching the replay, throw a question in the comments, but we will get on out of here if we don't have any additional questions. Start sits. If you guys think of anything, hit me up in the Discord. It's like $7 to join right now. So just hit me up with a link or use the link below. Like I said, we're working up our way to 5,000 members. Hell of a group we got at Sharp Bros, and we'll keep on smashing it. So with that, we'll get up on out of here. If you guys have any additional questions, let me know. Everybody, good luck on your bets, and we'll get up on out of here. See you guys.